Alright, hello. Uh, Sorry for taking so long to get this set up. I'd meant to start about 20 minutes ago, but I woke up a bit later than I had planned to, and took a little while to eat breakfast, but I'm here now. Yeah, so, hello Ben. And so, yeah, where we left off, I might need to get my wet palette set up. It looks like the paint has split in the palette since last week when I was painting. Yeah, look at that there. Doesn't look great. That orange has come out of the copper, so I'll need to clean that out. But yeah, what we were doing last week was we had been working on this drone here, and what I want to do is essentially I want to do this drone in the same style of weathering that I had done for the battlesuit here, which I reckon I'm happy with it, but I think that it looks a little bit I want to say tatty, but that like it's battle damage, so that makes sense. But I feel like I could definitely improve on what I've done with it. Oh, my mic is peeking into the frame there. Let's see if I can just adjust that a bit. Yeah, that's good. But then yeah, so I think I'm going to do this drone in the same style of weathering. So with the oil and the same way that I did the crackle effect on the shoulder there. So I'm going to have, and then we have the Nuln oil to darken it. And I'm going to do the little scratches and everything in the little black fine lines like that. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and paint this drone slightly differently, where first of all, the crackle is being done after the spray undercoat. And then secondly, I'm going to take a bit more time and just try to paint it a bit more cleanly. And rather than doing my scratch marks in just flat black like I'd done here, I'm going to try to do them in a lighter red to make it look like proper surface scratching. And we'll see how big the difference is. So, to get started, I will quickly duck away for probably about a minute or two while I empty out this, or while I clean off the baking paper of my wet palette and get a bit more moisture. Actually, it's probably got plenty of moisture in there, but I'm going to duck away for just a moment while I get my palette ready. All right. So, now that we've come back and gotten that set up, I'm wondering where we should start today. Do we want to do the weathering on this one right away? Or should we go through and just start painting this one and then get them both to the same sort of level, and then we can come back and through and weather both of them? Because we'll be able to see, it'll be more interesting to watch me painting this one fresh. I reckon we'll paint this one fresh and then we'll weather them both later on, because that way it gives me an opportunity to warm up rather than trying to go straight into detail work. So, that being said, we should get started. I've got it split into 2 bits here, so it's easier to reach the underside. But we'll get started by loading up some corn red into our wet palette. That was stuck quite hard and I just got paint all over my hands immediately. Okay, and so there's 2 ways we can go about this. Well, for this first one, I had done an initial base coat in a dry brush, but I feel like doing so sort of really blocked up a lot of the cracks that I had there in the crackle paint. So I think I'm going to manually brush this second drone and see how that turns out. Because I'm not really in practice with the dry brush anyway, and I'm trying to make a point of painting these 2 in different ways so we can see how they turn out differently. So we've got the corn red in our palette, and we'll just get the Wazducker red as well, which is this slightly lighter red. It's taking a very long time to drip out of the pot into the palette. But there we are. All right, so let's just get right to it then. Actually, well, no, yeah. Don't need to load up the metallics just yet. We just load up our brush with a bit of moisture and then squeeze out the excess. And then load up the brush. It's nice and smooth, but I might pull back a little bit on the amount that I've got on my brush there. There we are. I'm liking that. So for the corn red, we're just going to be doing the outer edges here around the rims. And we're just going to take our time as we go around, carefully going up to the edges. We'll do multiple coats because it's a red paint, and so the red pigments generally need a few layers to show up nicely. And I want to be careful when I go over this part with the crackle on it, because I don't want to completely flood the crevices. And then we'll just keep going around the outer edge now. We will come back and build back on that again later on. I was saying this last week, but it's a bit of a pain to paint these drones because since they don't have a proper base, I can't magnetize them to something sturdy that I can hold on to. I just kind of have to hang on to weird parts of the model and hope that I don't touch the wet paint. Alright, starting to run out of paint on the brush here, so see if we can make it to the end of this outer section before we need to load up. No, it's getting a bit speckly, we'll have to load up a bit early. Yeah, it's looking much nicer immediately, just with a fresh stock of paint to put on. I think I really could have done a better job when I was applying the crackle earlier, or when I was setting this up, because it is not that noticeable. Although actually, it doesn't look too bad there. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on camera. If I just punch this in a little bit. You can see the crackle showing up pretty well there. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll just punch that back out. So now while this is all drying, let's do the outer rim. This is just really relaxing, being able to sit back down and just work with the red base coats again. Because prior to a lot of the stuff that I was doing before I took a bit of a break after getting back from Japan, a lot of the stuff that I was doing while I was in Japan was other techniques or just other colors in general. Like when I was working on my Necrons, I was doing a lot of metallics, and then I went on to the Tyranids with the slap chop. And it was fun, but it's just so relaxing being able to just layer on a nice smooth coat of red onto my towel. Right, I reckon we can go back over the top section now. Just not sure how I'm meant to hold this. Can I get him like this? There we are. This does not feel stable at all. I'm just hanging on to it. Oh, I nearly lost it there trying to show you. But yeah, I'm just hanging on to it with my fingernails. There's not a whole lot to hold on to on the underside of this model. But I reckon I should be able to keep it steady enough to paint. Never mind, that was not steady in the slightest. Alright. How are we going to do this? Oh my god. I need to find a way to hang on to this without just throwing it all over the place. Go like this. Oh yeah. Need to reload my brush though because I had some very, very thin paint on it and it's dried almost immediately while I was fiddling around with that. Is this in focus or is it focused on my hand? Let's see if I can redirect the focus onto the mini itself. I think that's a bit better. And this section here's got some more of the crackles on it. I don't know if I want to get some red in the cracks, or if I want to leave the base coat or the undercoat showing through. If it were black, I think I'd like to have the undercoat there, but since I did a Zenithal Prime, it's got it's mostly white on the top, and I'm not sure if that's going to look all that acceptable showing through. We'll see how we go, and if we don't like the look of it, we can always come back later. But now we'll do the underside of the rims there. Once again in the corn red. Try to do as much as I can in one color before I move on to the next, just so that I don't have to wash my brush out as thoroughly every time. Man, it's really weird for me just sitting here live streaming and then hearing the music that I use in my videos come on, because I feel like I'm editing the videos. Because I've heard this song in particular so many times just on repeat while I'm editing, and it's just really weird hearing it while I'm painting now. think the paint that I'm using here is a bit thin. So a lot of the base coat, or the undercoat is still showing through quite strongly. So I will definitely need multiple coats for this underside. It looks pretty patchy. Thankfully, since it's so thin, it is drying incredibly quickly. Another nice thing is, last week when I was painting, it was disgustingly hot. So on top of it just feeling really bad, my paint was drying unbelievably quickly, but it's much, much nicer today, nice and cool. And yeah, coming through with this second coat is looking a lot nicer already. All right. I'd say that's probably good for the corn red for the time being. What did I do here? I believe for this one, I did corn red for those sections. So yeah, let's do those now. So not quite done with the corn red just yet. So we'll just pick up the corn red, and that's just going to go onto here. And then once we're done with that, we'll come back with the Wazducker for the top, the central, I don't know even what I'd call that, the top plate. This whole bit. Yeah, I've thinned my paint down a little more than I usually do, so it is a little bit slow going here. But yeah, I'm going out of my way to take my time with these ones because I'm still a bit out of practice with my painting. So I want to take my time and just relearn all of the skills that I've forgotten. I call them skills, but I'm not that good at them. Let me know if the audio balance is a little off at all, or if the the model's a bit hard to see when I'm painting, and I'll do what I can to play around with the sound or zoom in or out or change the focus. It'd be really awkward if you're sitting here watching and you just can't see anything, or the music's way too loud, or I'm way too loud, or whatever. And because I have no way of knowing unless you guys let me know. Alright, cool. So we'll head over to using the Wazdaka Red for this whole middle section now. I'm always very vocal about not liking Wazdaka Red as a paint. But the fact of the matter is that it works really nicely with Corn Red, so I keep coming back and using it, but it is such a pain to work with. I have to thin it down so much because it gets really streaky. So you just pick up a bit of moisture and we'll mix that in. Because the Corn Red's always so nice and runny, so it's really easy just to thin down and work with at whatever consistency. What do we think about this? I think it should be okay. Might be a little thin. We'll see how it goes. If it's too thin, then we can always just go back with more coats. I'm scared to start immediately on the crackle paint, so we'll just go on the flat sections first. I don't want to potentially ruin the weathered section. And yeah, we'll definitely need multiple coats of this now that I've started putting it on. I'm wondering if it's maybe too thick, because I'm still seeing the brush marks. I want to point our brush outwards towards the edge. Looks like I'll probably need to come back with the Corn Red around the outside edge here, because I didn't point quite close up enough to the groove between these two sections. I have no idea where I'm meant to hold on this so that I don't touch the paint. Need a reload on paint. It's starting to dry up a bit on the brush. And it looks like I might also need to refocus the camera because I just saw out of the corner of my eye that I might have been a little bit too close and it went out of focus. Alright, so now we're getting to the point where I'm going to start going over some of this crackle paint. I'm really interested to see how this is going to hold up compared to when I dry brushed it on the other one. But, oh, I just got some on the antenna there, yuck. But if this goes well, then I'm hoping what we'll get is a nice sort of sun damaged look from the crackle where it's like the paint, it looks like the paint on the drone has just started to lift up from like sun damage, you know? Yeah, a lot of time out in the like in the desert, because that's what my my tower are all on desert bases. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a nice looking effect out of this. When I did the previous one, I had done the undercoat. I'd sprayed my undercoat on top of the crackle paint rather than this time around where this one I've got the crackle paint on top of the undercoat. Because when I sprayed the undercoat over the top, I'm pretty sure it just completely drowned all of the little crevices and everything that I'm wanting to work with. I'll punch this in a little so you can see. You can see the crackle there. On the other one, they got completely drowned out by my spray undercoat. So I'm hoping that, and also I dry brushed on top and it sort of eliminated a lot of that. So I'm manually going over it quite carefully here to try to keep this all in line. And I think it's looking pretty good so far. It's looking better than the other one for sure. Oh, and while I was doing that, my paint started to dry on my brush. Looks good so far. Thank you. I'm not sure if it's, I haven't really done a whole lot yet. This is just applying the base coats. But yeah, I'm happy with how it's turning out so far. This is the boring part. Once I get to the, once I get this all coated, then I'll have the fun part of trying to do the weathering on them. But right now I'm working with a really painful red color that it's just so streaky no matter how much I thin it. Or if I thin it too much, it's really streaky, and if I don't thin it enough, then it's really clumpy. So it's a really annoying balancing act of doing a thin coat and then I have to come back and do more thin coats afterwards. Yeah, at the moment, we're just trying to fill in all of the little patchy bits and then I can come back and do my second coat. Yeah, it's looking very patchy with just one coat, so let's just clean up our brush and then reload it and go back through for a second pass. I'm just making sure the consistency of the paint is fine on my dry palette, or dry palette, on my texture palette there. I guess it is a dry palette, but it's not really what it's called. It's a palette that is dry. Okay, I've got the consistency is much nicer this time around. We should be pretty good. Oh, I got some of the Wazduck on the outer rim. I'm gonna need to go back over this with the corn red after I'm done with the centerpiece anyway. But I still want to avoid any mistakes where I can. It all adds up. If I put too much paint on any one piece, then the layers will just build up, and sometimes you can see a small like raise where I've gone over it again and again and again, and I don't want to needlessly texture it. Okay, I guess we'll let that centerpiece dry, and we'll head back through and redo the corn red around the outer edges, and then we can get going on our metallics for this top section. That's a little bit thin. We'll try that again. That's looking better. Okay, cool. I think we're pretty good for the reds. So we'll set that down and let's load up some of our metallics into the wet palette. So we're going to go for the same setup that we'd used for this one here, to do the underside there. So for that, it's going to be Hashut Copper, as well as Runelord Brass and Leadbelcher. So that's the sort of setup that we're going to go for. I'm also going to use Corvus Black just to do that little section there in the middle where my fingernail is right now. All right, let's get the Hashut copper going. So this is the one that at the start of the stream, before I'd cleaned out my my wet palette, it sort of had this orange color leaking from it. It's probably my favorite metallic paint that I have. So once again, we just test it out on our fingernail. And it's looking nice and smooth. One thing that I find often when I'm painting over these grates is it will make a little bubble. I'll see if I can punch this in a little so that we can see more clearly what I'm doing. Yeah, for example, when I do that, see how it's formed that bubble there? If I leave that be, sometimes I can get a really yucky finish, so I need to make sure I pop them every time I end up accidentally making those. What do we think of this sort of zoom level? I'm looking at it on my phone where I'm reading chat from, and I think it's looking a lot better. You can see everything I'm doing much more clearly. I just need to not move as much so that I don't accidentally go out of frame. Looks like I've started to lose a bit of the paint on my brush there, so I need to restock. The copper definitely goes way better over my over the lighter colored base coat, like what I had up here from the Zenithal Prime, where the white undercoat was there. It's much patchier over the black undercoat. And we'll start doing a second coat here on the outer rim, where that's dried now. one thing that I have to be very conscious of as well is the paint will always blob up. It'll always gather at the end of a brush stroke. So I constantly need to brush in one direction to avoid sort of making any weird raised sections in the middle. Oh, I accidentally just put my finger on the wet paint, so I'll need to clean that up. And that should be good for that little bit there. So now we'll stock up on a little bit more paint. And let's do this antenna. Just looking at the previous one. What was the design I'd done? So we went copper over the top, with lead belcher underneath and then copper on the ends. Righto. Sometimes I accidentally do a stroke and it sort of leaves a white line through the metallic there. So then I have to sort of go back and stipple up and down to sort of get rid of it. That's what I was doing just there. I think I've got a bit too much water in this load of copper here, so it's causing it to look a bit patchy. But it's smooth, but it's pretty transparent, so I'll leave it as is, and then I'll come back to it. And so the sections that we're going to be doing in the copper here is this top bit. Missed a little bit on the end. And then the little end bit here, and I'll do this under bit here as well. Paint on the brush is dried, so we just got to restock and go again. maybe a bit too much paint on my brush there. Whoops. Am I in frame? Oh, I know, I'm a little off to the left. My bad there. Oh my god, what is this song? Hang on a sec. I cannot paint listening to this. Oh, yuck. I was worried about that. I accidentally put a really big glob of paint on the end there, and I was trying to drag it without it spilling in and flooding the crevices, although that's exactly what happened. Since there's so much water, if I'm lucky, then it should thin down as the water evaporates. That might not be the case though. I'll just do this underside here, and then I'll clean my brush and just come back through with nothing but just water on the brush. So what I'm doing here is I'm just cleaning up the paint that's run into the crevices there with a wet brush. So we'll just get a little bit more of the copper and go over for another coat because it's gotten a bit patchy in spots. Namely right here. We just give that a bit of a brighten up there. I think we're looking pretty good for the antenna. So next up, we've got this bit under here. Now this is the fun bit where I'm gonna have the previous one out as a bit of a guide for what I'd done before. looking at this, what we'd done originally and what we're going to emulate is this, first of all, the outer ring, which will probably work from the inside and then go work our way out. So the inner section is in our Leadbelcher silver, and then we go to Runelord brass, and then back to Leadbelcher. And then we have our details in our Hashut copper, and these little eyes on the outside are going to be in a slightly brighter red Wasducker red so that it stands out from the corn red rim here. I'm just going to have that sitting down there so that I have a guide to follow for this. I'll need to put some of the Runelord brass in my wet palette now. My paint pots are getting quite low, so it takes a bit of effort to get the paint out of them because it just takes ages to pour from the back of the pot to the front, and I keep shaking them and then getting paint on my fingers like an idiot. I don't think that's wet enough to go from my fingers to the model though, so we should be fine. So we're starting off with our Leadbelcher again. Oop, that's way out of focus. Hold up. There we are, that's looking better. You really cannot see a lot of the texture on this. I don't know why. I just need to hold this at a slightly different angle. Okay. Why is this so hard to see on camera? Yeah, I really need to play around with my settings. Unfortunately, it doesn't let me change the camera settings while I'm connected to the computer. And also with the way my camera is set up, it's upside down, so it's really annoying to try to access the settings without taking it off of my off of the mount. It's quite sad that you can't see what's going here. It's a little frustrating because it looks really nice. And the whole reason I'm streaming is so that you can see it, but just does not show up that well. Is it the angle of the light, maybe? If I hold it at this angle, does this show up better? Actually, it does show up quite a bit better. Let's punch this in a bit more. Yeah, that looks a lot better. We'll go like this. Bit of an awkward angle for me to paint at, but at least you can see what's happening. Ooh, I've actually gone back into the bad angle again. If I just drop my chair down a little bit so I'm at a different angle, might make it easier for me then. I'm not breathing into the mic at all, am I? That'd be really annoying. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I should be talking more or talking less because I'm getting a lot of traffic since I'm streaming at this sort of time of day. I keep seeing people enter the chat and they keep sort of going in and out. And I'm not sure whether they leave more when I start talking or not, because I'm not sure whether they're looking for just like they want to watch painting and listen to chill music, or if they want to like listen to someone talk or not. Just chat if you feel like chatting. Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do. Although sometimes it's a bit awkward just trying to talk while I'm doing this really fiddly stuff. But yeah, it's nice seeing actual traffic in a stream for once. As I keep seeing it go up from like there's the 2 constant, but then I'll see it go up to 3 quite frequently, and it was up at 5 earlier. People, that is. And so it's nice. It's nothing crazy, but it's good to know that I am in the algorithm somewhere. Not just shouting into the void. Although I guess I am still kind of shouting into the void. We're almost done with this metallic detailing on the bottom here. Yo, Reese. Glad you could make it, brother. You at work today or you've just woken up? Just woken up. It's a public holiday, so no being a gremlin in the lunchroom today with the lights out. Oh, Leo, how you going, mate? Looks like the whole gang's showing up at once. Although I don't know if we can call 2 people showing up the whole gang, but maybe maybe there'll be more people. I mean, if 2 people's the whole gang, I'm pretty happy. Oh, my autofocus is freaking out a little bit. Just a bedroom gremlin. It's the best kind of gremlin. The most comfortable gremlin of all. All right, I think that's more or less the metallics done. There's some mistakes that I've made that I'll need to clean up. So I'll do the red eye camera things underneath, and then I'll come back and do the corn red on the underside of the trim there. And then we'll probably be set to go and do, where is it? The guns that hang down beneath. And then we can finally come back through and get working on our weathering. Oh, I'm getting some frame drops. I'm not sure if that's just on my end or if the stream's losing some frames as well. Well, I guess frame drops aren't the biggest deal with this sort of content. It's not exactly high octane Apex gameplay or anything like that. You're probably not going to miss a whole lot. Am I in frame here? Looks like it, yep. Oh, that's gross. Oh, yuck. 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 Way too much paint on my brush there. That's looking a little bit better. Ah, but you can't see it because the autofocus is freaking out. What am I painting? I will... I'll just quickly do these, this one eye, and then I'll put it down and show you what I'm doing. Actually, the paint's in a really good state right now. I don't want to put it down just yet. I've got some really little bits that I'll do, and I will show you right away. And last one. All right. So what I'm doing is, so I'm painting Tau, and so here's one that's already fully painted. I'm painting some drones that came along with, so there's this stealth battle suit, or sorry, not stealth battle suit, this broadside battle suit, which I've painted. I did this while I was in Japan. I'll zoom out a little bit. Oh, that's in. That was in, not out. I'm a fool. I need to stand up so I can see what my camera looks like. Yeah, that's good. So I'd painted this fella while I was in Japan, and it came with two drones that are meant to go along with it. And so I'm working on doing them right now. Prior to that, I had already done this drone. This was one of the first minis that I did. And I wanted to go a little bit further than what I'd done there and sort of improve on them a bit. And so what I've got is when I painted this broadside suit, I did a lot of stuff trying to do weathering and battle damage and stuff. Like on the shoulder here, there's this sort of crackle effect, which looks like sun damage, although I'm not 100% happy with it. And then I've got all these scratches and stuff here on the chest plate. You can see them there. And I'm okay with them, but I think I can improve on them. And since this came with two more drones included, I want to sort of see what I can do to improve on my weathering. And so last week, I painted one of them, which was this one here. And I think it's already much higher quality than the drone that I did when I first started painting. So the new one's in my left hand and the old one's in my right hand. So I think the quality of this one is definitely much higher. I'm very happy with it. So it's nice to see improvement there. And then now what I'm doing is I'm going to, once I've fully painted this and this second one that I'm working on right now, I'm then going to come back through and try doing battle damage and weathering on them and make it look better than what I've done with the broadside suit over there. They've got my work cut out for me. But yeah, I'm on my second drone at the moment. I've just finished doing the top half of it. I really like the way the detailing on the underside works there. And so now I'm just going to do the guns that hang underneath. It definitely looks a lot cleaner. Yeah, thank you. The main reason for that, I reckon, is because I sort of went the extra mile with the stuff underneath. Where on the original one, I pretty much just painted it black underneath and then did a very faint sort of dry brush to pick up the edges with metallics. Whereas with this one, with the new one, I went and painted it solidly with 3 different metallic colors to give it a bit of definition and a nice gradient there. But yeah, that's where we're at the moment. I'm going to finish painting the second drone, and then I'll be able to come back through and do the weathering for them. And that's the bit where I ruin all of my hard work. I just need to have a bit of a stretch. All right. So, where are we at? We've got this here. Oh, actually, I think I was going to... Actually, can I be bothered to go back through and fix that? The mistakes are all minute enough that no one's going to see them anyway. It's fine. It's on the underside of it. So keeping with the same theme of the 3 colors that we've used, we've gone silver, bronze, and copper. I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to have my silver for the central bit, and then bronze for the lower lying sections, and then copper for all my highlights. So we just test the consistency on my fingernail, and it looks pretty good. Is this in focus or no? Let's see. Looks like it's in focus. Oh, it is not in focus, and it is so dark. I'll probably need to... Hang on, let's just get this zoom level back. That should be good. don't know if any of this bit that I'm doing right now is even going to be visible when the drone is assembled. I'm pretty sure it's not, but we'll do it anyway, just in case. Okay, so now we'll go and do our brass for the bottom half of this center pylon. Now, this bit does not show up well on camera at all. Which is quite sad. Oh, my shoulder's quite sore. Ow, ow, ow. I need to raise my chair up a little bit. I went a little too low. I get the focus to work. Might need to pull this back a bit. There. That's better. All right. So now we can go back and do our the guns on the side where we'll actually be able to see what we're doing. Now for this, they're actually broken down into quite a few different segments. So we can make these look quite detailed, but it might also be a bit of a pain. I reckon what I'm going to do is I'll use what I've done with my broadside suit as a bit of a reference for this. Where what I did with the broadside was I essentially alternated between, I used the Hachette copper for the really small details that I want to highlight. And then I had the Runelord brass as the main body of it with some of the other sections done in my silver in the lead belcher. I think I'll probably do the same sort of thing for this drone here. Because it's got a similar thing where it's got a lot of individual segments that I can probably break apart with the different metallics. So let's see how we go. So how do we want to start this out? We probably want to start from the lowest sections. Actually, I should probably decide on which bits I want to do in the really bright highlights so that I can move my way away from them. So I think, yeah, let's do the copper sections because that way we can move out from them. Because I don't want to have bronze or have the Runelord brass directly adjacent to the copper where I can avoid it. Sorry about any background noise you might hear. It sounds like my sister is currently giving the dog a bath, so you might hear some occasional commotion. Right, I think that's most of the copper that I'll be doing on the guns. Oh, I need to do the inside edge as well. Yuck. These will be awkward to reach. And I reckon I'll carry some of the corn red from the top down into the guns here, just so that there's a bit of a so it sort of ties together, like what I've done with the rocket drone over here, where I still use some of the corn red so that it's not all metallic on the bottom half. It's all really fiddly stuff here, but once we get all the copper down, we'll be able to see much more tangible progress. I just want to do this bit first so that it's easier for me to establish the foundation that I'm working with, because I want to make a nice gradient of between the metallics. And unfortunately, if the copper ends up right next to the brass, then you can't really see like the difference at a glance. But if I have the copper next to the silver instead, then it looks awesome. And so that's what we're going for. So yeah, that's why I'm just marking out where I want the copper to be first, so that it's easier for me to build out from there. Normally I would go for the low-lying sections first and then the details later, so that I don't have to go back on the details again and again and again. But I didn't really plan this out ahead of time. I'm sort of just winging it as I go. Kind of wishing that I hadn't glued these guns onto the center pylon when I had assembled it, but just sort of pushed them on so that I could pull them off when it came time to paint them. But you live and you learn. If I ever paint any more of these, I know what I'm doing next time. This angle is really hard for me to see what I'm doing because the one of the guns is blocking the light, so I can't see what I'm aiming at. So you guys can't really see what I'm doing here. But sorry, this is the only angle where I can see what I'm doing. I reckon that's all of the copper done. Well, almost all of the copper. There's these tiny little details that I'm going to pick out. But I'll do that at the end. So now I can rinse my brush and then go back with the red for the first bit of base coat. I think I've grabbed far too much red. Let's see. How does it apply? That looks pretty good. If a little thin. Yeah, we might need a little bit more. There we are, that's looking a lot better. There we are, that's really nice. Paint might be a little thin. It's running a bit. I accidentally got it into that groove there, which I was trying to avoid. And since it's so thin, I have to sort of keep the model angled up so that it doesn't start running. Just let this bit dry, and then we can go again. Just really solidify that coat. Actually, rather than do that, we should probably do the first coat on the rest of this section, so that it's all nice and even. Can't wait to get this all painted up so that I can finally go and do what I've got in the title, where I can do the weathering on these guys. Once I've got that done, then I'll actually be able to make a proper video for the first time in like a month. You guys are witnessing the filming. So now that I'm back in Australia, I can actually stream, so I can stream while I record for my videos, which is quite nice. Helps me keep some degree of consistency on the channel. But unfortunately, this tiny little thing is really hard to get good angles on when I'm painting it, especially when all the bits are in the way. Especially these inside edges. thankfully the bit that I dropped it on had already dried. Okay, so now we can do our second coat here, and that should really brighten up this red section here, make it look nice and smooth, because it's a little bit patchy since it's over the black undercoat. Really prefer the way the corn red pops up over the white undercoat instead. Yeah, it looks so smooth with the second coat going on. This is reminding me of when I painted the first stealth suit that I ever did. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to paint, and then I started doing my second coat of corn red, and I was like, wow, this looks so nice. It's really exciting, because I didn't think it'd be that easy. Obviously, there's a whole lot more to it than just putting red on a Mini, but for a first-time painter, it was very exciting. I don't think I'm going to need to do a second coat for all of this because not all of it is going to be super visible. So we're just going to focus on the bits that people will be looking at. Like the outside parts, the back, and a little bit of the inside edge, like around here. Actually, I probably don't even need to do that. That's probably all the red that we're going to put on this. So we'll go around and do the other side in the same, and then we can start going through with our metallics. And I think it's going to end up looking really, really nice. wait, why did I even do that? I don't know what I was doing. I got completely confused and put red where it wasn't meant to be. Whoops. My mind had wandered. Oh, whoops, I was completely out of frame there. All right. I think that's all the red that I need to do for there. Now we can go back to our metallics. Oh, that was my elbows clicking. Oh. So let's crack out our lead belcher. So this is the silver. Okay, so making good progress. Now we want to do the this section that runs through the middle here. I'm going to do this in the silver, and then I'm going to flank it with the brass. I think that'll end up looking quite nice. It's such a fine little bit there that I need to get into. You see what it is I'm trying to do here? It's like right in here. Is this in focus? Oh no, it's just barely out of focus. Uh-oh, looks like my phone's running out of charge, which means that I will be losing chat. Not that there's anybody talking anyway. Oof. Nah, it's all good. Yeah, I've still got 20% left on the phone, so it should last a while. Because I haven't got my phone set up in a spot where I can really plug it in anywhere. My painting area is a little bit of a mess. Yeah, I saw this was in perfect focus for a second, and then I messed it up. My elbows are also starting to get a little bit sore from bracing them on the desk like this. I might need to work out a different posture to assume while I'm painting. This is getting a little bit painful because I'm sort of trying to hold the mini up towards the camera. But maybe I could probably do this with my wrists just resting on the desk if I bring the camera down lower. Actually, let's just see if I can do it like that. I will drop myself down lower and I will zoom my camera right in. Is that in or out that I just did? That's in. Cool. Is this in frame? It is. This might actually be a much better way to do it. little bit of silver on the little nut there. All right, I think this is coming along quite nicely. Just looking at that. Oh, sorry, I was out of frame again. My bad. Where do I need to be in frame? Let's find a spot. Let's put it down like dead in frame. Okay. And I'm going to mark this. How do I want to mark it? Yeah, that is my frame marker. Oh, it's this song again. I hate this one. It's so like, why? Okay, this is looking pretty good. All that's left now is to do our brass layers. Oh, and pick out the tiny little details in copper. How much charge have I got left on my phone? 17%. Should have heaps of time. Oh, I may have just smudged some of my silver. It looks fine. first things first. I noticed this a few minutes ago. It's a big dollop of red that I accidentally got on my brass earlier, so you got to get rid of that. And now we can come back through and finish off our can't think of words. Finish off the barrels of the guns. Yeah, looking at the fact that my that my phone is probably going to lose charge soon, I reckon what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish painting the this drone here. I'm going to get it all detailed and everything, and I'm probably going to call it here or call it there for the day. And then in the next stream, then I'll come through and I'll do all of my detailing. Or sorry, I'll do all of my weathering and that, and have it all set up and ready to go for the final bit there. Okay, I think that's everything I need to do in the brass. I don't think I can see any bits I missed. So now it's just tiny little details like these bottom bits here. I'm going to do in silver. And then the really little copper highlights. Well, not even highlights. It's just like these tiny little points on it. You probably can't even see them on the camera. But they're just these tiny little things here. This one. Ugh. There's the other. And since I made a mistake there, I'm going to need to just do a quick pass back over with my red just to clean it all up. Just as some little touch-ups. Ooh, and then also I need to do the barrels, like the very ends of the barrels, which I think I will be doing in copper as well. And with that, I think I can call us pretty well done for the day. So now what we've got is here. Here is the finished product of what we've done today. Is this in focus? It is. So, this little fella here. I really like the way the metallics show up on the underside there. We take it apart. We've got that there. And yeah, so if we put it on its little stand thing, we can get the side by side of it and its friend. We get these in focus. There we are. And yeah, I think they look really cool. I'm really happy with the way the metallics show up on them. Yeah, so I can't wait to weather them and see how they see how I can ruin them. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys all later. Until next time.